The wind outside howls like a living creature, scraping against the old wooden windows with a sound that sends a shiver down your spine. You sit in front of the hearth, the orange glow from the fire casting long, wavering shadows on the walls. The room feels warm, but the atmosphere is thick with something unspoken. Grandpa sits beside you, his face lined with age, but his eyes still sharp despite the years. He leans forward, the firelight flickering across his features, and for a moment, you think he might be lost in the past. You're used to his stories, those wild tales of his younger years that seemed larger than life. But tonight, something feels different.
Let me tell you about the summer of '57,
He says, his voice low, almost a whisper. You feel a chill creep through the room as he speaks, though the fire burns bright. You lean in closer, sensing the change in him. His eyes are distant, as though seeing something far beyond the walls of this room.
It was the summer I left the safety of our little farmhouse to explore the woods behind it. I was just a boy, but that summer, I felt like I could take on the world.
You swallow, unsure of what's coming next. You've heard him talk about the woods before, how he'd explored them without fear, as many boys did in those days. But the way he speaks now, it's like the words themselves hold a heaviness, a warning.
It wasn't supposed to be anything special, just a simple walk. My friends and I had done it 100 times before, but that day, things changed.
He pauses, his eyes narrowing, the firelight flickering strangely in his gaze.
That summer, the weather was different. It wasn't just hot. It was oppressive, thick, humid air that made it feel like the world itself was holding its breath. The animals seemed to sense it too. The dogs wouldn't stop barking. The cows were restless even when they were in the barn. My father said it was just the heat, but I knew better. I remember walking out there, just me and a couple of friends, as the sun started to set. The woods weren't far from the house, but that day they seemed different. The trees loomed higher, the shadows deeper. It was like the forest was waiting for us, watching.
Grandpa's eyes drift off, and for a moment, it seems like he's somewhere else, somewhere far away. You can't help but stare at him and lean closer, a strange unease crawling over your skin. The fire crackles, and the wind outside howls louder.
I should have known something was wrong. There was a trail, a narrow path that ran through the woods. I'd walked it dozens of times before, but that day it was different. The earth was damp, the air heavy, like the forest was holding its breath. The usual sounds of birds and insects, they were gone, dead quiet. We walked farther than usual, too far. I remember feeling that uneasy feeling in my gut, but I ignored it. We pressed on. Then we heard it. At first, I thought it was an animal, but then it happened again. A whisper, soft, like it was carried on the wind, but it was clear. My name. Just my name.
His voice falters for a moment, and the room seems to grow colder, the shadows in the corners deepening. Your heart skips a beat. The air in the room thickens, and you glance nervously toward the window, half expecting to see something watching you. But the night outside is pitch black. Nothing stirs in the darkness.
I didn't tell my friends. I didn't want them to get scared. I told myself I was imagining it, but I wasn't. It called my name again, and then I saw it. It was standing between two trees, tall, too tall for a man. It had long, thin arms like branches. Its skin was pale, deadly pale, and its face.
He trails off, and for a moment you wonder if he's lost his words. But then he looks at you, his eyes wide with the memory.
Sonny, I never saw its eyes clearly, but I could feel them watching me. And that's when I realized we weren't alone. It was there, and it was waiting for me.
The air in the room seems to freeze. You glance toward the window again, half expecting to see something lurking just outside. But it's nothing more than the swaying trees, their limbs scratching against the glass. You feel the darkness pressing in, suffocating.
I ran. We all ran. But no matter how fast we went, I felt it always behind me, watching, waiting. It followed us all the way back to the house, whatever it was.
The fire's warmth seems to do little to banish the chill that now fills the room. You sit, frozen, as Grandpa's words echo in your mind. Your skin prickles, your breath shallow.
But what happened after that?
You ask, your voice barely a whisper. Grandpa stares at the fire, his gaze distant. The wind outside howls again, sending a chill through the walls. He shifts uncomfortably in his chair, his hands shaking as he grips the armrests.
Well, we thought we were safe. We thought it was over. But I was wrong. Over the next few days, I started noticing things. I'd hear noises at night, scratching, scraping, like something was moving outside my window. But when I looked, there was nothing there. I'd hear it whispering again, only this time, it wasn't just my name. It was everyone's name. My friends, my parents. It was all becoming too real. It was following me. It was in the house, in the walls, in the trees, and no matter where I went, I could feel it watching me, waiting for me. I thought I was losing my mind. I even told my father, but he said it was just my imagination, that I was letting the stories get to me. You know how that goes. But I knew it was real. I could feel it. It was always there.
Grandpa pauses, staring into the fire for a long moment, his face pale.
And then one night, it was worse, much worse.
He leans in closer to you, his voice dropping to a hoarse whisper.
I was lying in bed, trying to sleep, when I heard it, the whispering. But this time, it was inside my head. I heard it in my thoughts, and it wasn't just my name. It said everyone's name. It said my friends' names, my parents' names, and then it said my brother's name, my older brother. My brother had died a few years before in a fire. But the thing that whispered, it knew his name, it knew all of us, and then it spoke again. This time, it wasn't just a whisper. I looked out the window, and I saw it, standing outside, right at the edge of the trees, watching.
You feel your heart pounding, your breath coming in shallow bursts. The wind outside picks up again, but it's nothing compared to the chill crawling up your spine. Grandpa's eyes meet yours, his gaze intense, like he's seeing something, someone, that isn't here anymore.
It never left. It's always been there, and it's still waiting. But it whispered to me one night that I have survived it for long enough. It's out there for someone else. It's still out there waiting, waiting for you.
The room falls into a heavy silence. The crackling of the fire, the only sound filling the air. The wind outside howls louder now, its gusts rattling the old house as if echoing the unease in your chest. You stare at Grandpa, his face pale, his expression a mix of dread and resignation. His voice drops lower, barely above a whisper, as he continues.
It wasn't long after that night when I saw it again. I thought I'd put it behind me. Thought maybe it was just a figment of my imagination, some old nightmare I couldn't escape. But the thing was never truly gone. It had been waiting for me, in the shadows, in the woods, and it was getting closer.
You can barely breathe as you listen, every word like a heavy weight on your chest. It's as if the very air in the room has thickened, pressing in on you. Grandpa shifts uncomfortably in his seat, eyes darting to the window, before looking back at you.
I had a bad feeling that night. I don't know how else to describe it. It was like the world was closing in around me, and everything felt wrong. The house was quiet, too quiet. Even the wind seemed to hush, like it was holding its breath. I remember hearing something scratching at the door. At first, I thought it was an animal, a raccoon or something trying to get in, but when I opened the door, nothing was there, just the dark, empty night. And that's when I saw it. Standing at the edge of the trees, that same tall, twisted figure, its arms reaching out like branches. The wind blew, and its silhouette was clearer than ever. I couldn't see its face, but I could feel it. It was watching me, and I knew it had come for me. I went out there, you know. I thought if I faced it, maybe it would go away. Maybe it was just my fear, my imagination. I had to see it for myself. So I went into the woods that night, alone. The others were too scared to follow me, but I couldn't stand it anymore. I had to know. I thought I was brave, son, but I didn't make it far. I barely made it past the first line of trees before it appeared. But this time, it wasn't standing. No, this time, it was moving toward me, its long limbs dragging across the ground, its body jerking in unnatural ways. Its black eyes locked onto mine, and I swear it could see through me. It knew me. I tried to run, but my feet wouldn't move. I was paralyzed, trapped by its gaze. The air around me grew colder. The trees seemed to bend and twist as if they were alive, and the forest whispered my name, just my name, over and over again. And then it spoke. It didn't say anything I could understand, but I felt it. It wasn't just words. It was like it was in my head, telling me things, dark things, things I couldn't escape.
The room seems to grow colder, and the shadows in the corners of the room stretch, becoming darker, deeper. You feel a presence around you, something watching from the dark corners of the house, and your breath hitches in your throat.
I ran back to the house that night. I never went into those woods again. But the thing, it followed me. It followed me all the way back to the house. I could feel it outside my window every night after that, watching me, waiting for me to step outside. But I never told anyone about that last encounter. My family thought I was just scared of the dark. They didn't believe me, but I knew what I saw, and I knew it wasn't finished with me or my family.
Your chest tightens, the fear that had been creeping up your spine now taking hold of you completely. The shadows seem to close in around you, darker than ever before. You glance at the window once again, half expecting to see that same figure standing just outside. But there's nothing but the dark, oppressive night. Grandpa shifts in his seat, his eyes haunted, distant.
But it wasn't just me. It came for... I didn't realize it at first, but the thing, it was marking me, watching me, yes, but also following me. And when I left that place, I thought it was over. I thought I could leave it behind. But it followed.
Your stomach churns as he speaks, your own fear rising in your chest. The fire crackles, casting flickering shadows on the walls, but it doesn't warm you. It feels colder than ever.
I was a young man then, moving out of the house to start my life. The thing didn't stop. It followed me to the city. It followed me to the places I worked, the people I met. It never let me go. And everywhere I went, bad things started happening. People close to me, friends, neighbors, they started to disappear. I'd hear their names just like before. I'd feel it in my bones. It was there, watching, waiting. and it made me do things, terrible things. It fed off my fear, my doubt. You see, son, I didn't understand it at first. God, I wish I did. I didn't know what it wanted. But now I understand. It doesn't just want you, it takes you. It takes your soul piece by piece. It feeds off your fear, your desperation. It makes you forget things, twist memories. It gets inside your head. After years of running, I thought I had finally escaped. I thought that maybe, just maybe, I had left it all behind. But it's never over. It's never finished. It's always waiting.
You wanted to forget it so badly, but he reminds you of it just as quickly. His eyes meet yours, piercing, filled with something you've never seen before. Fear. As much of a warning as it is, there seemed to be an underlying tone, though. Something more sinister.
And now, it's come for you.
You feel a coldness settle over you, your heart racing in your chest. The room feels too small, the air too thick. You want to scream, to run, but your body is frozen, locked in place by Grandpa's gaze.
It's inside you now, just like it was inside me. You've felt it, haven't you? That presence? That thing watching you when you're alone?
Your eyes widen as you realize with horror what he means. Your hands tremble as you look around the room, the shadows feeling like they're closing in, creeping toward you. Grandpa's voice is barely a whisper now, his breath ragged.
Oh, yes. It doesn't matter where you go, it will follow. It always follows.
The fire flickers one last time before it dies down, plunging the room into complete darkness. For a brief moment, the only sound you hear is your own heartbeat, racing in your chest. You turn to look at Grandpa, but he's no longer there. The whisper comes again, clear and cold in the back of your mind.
It's your turn now.
And, just as the shadows grow deeper, you hear it. Soft at first, but growing louder. The unmistakable sound of footsteps. Slow, deliberate, coming closer. It's here,